Holzman's here.
Commissioner Coleman is here.
Group's here as well.
Good morning. Sylvie's here.
I'm here, Mr. Chairman.
Morning, Commissioner.
I announced my presence earlier, Mr. Chairman.
Well, good morning, Commissioner.
Kochmeyer's here.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
Commissioner Roop on?
On.
That was Commissioner Roop?
Yes, it was.
All right. Well, it is now after 10:15 and all of the commissioners are in attendance, so we will go ahead and call the agenda meeting to order. So I ask those participating on the call, please mute your phone unless you need to speak. First order of business is to approve the October 6th agenda minutes. You all have seen those. Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the agenda minutes from October 6th, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those minutes are approved 5-0. Next up, we have the approval of the closed minutes from October 6th, 2021's agenda. You all have seen those. Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the closed minutes from October 6th, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right, those are also approved 5-0. The case discussion for file number GR 2021-0108 is going to be held tomorrow in our special agenda that's being scheduled just to handle that. So we will do that tomorrow. So that leaves us
Mr.
with...
Chair.
Oh, yes, Commissioner.
I'm sorry, I got disconnected.
Oh, okay. I was just, we haven't got started really going through the tariffs yet. I was just saying that the case discussion for GR 2021-0108, which is Spire's general rate case, is being handled tomorrow in a special agenda. So we will do that tomorrow. So that leads us with just 7 tariffs and new orders today and 1 brief other discussion. First up in tariffs and new orders is file number WM 2021-0412. This is in the matter of the joint application of Confluence Rivers Utility Operating Company, Inc., Hillcrest Utility Operating Company, Inc., Elm Hills Utility Operating Company, Inc., Osage Utility Operating Company, Inc., Raccoon Creek Utility Operating Inc., and Indian Hills Utility Operating Company Inc. for approval of a merger whereby Confluence Rivers will be the surviving corporation and of related transactions. So Confluence, Hillcrest, Elms Hills, Osage Utility, Raccoon Creek, and Indian Hills Utility filed a joint application requesting the commission approve a merger of the water and sewer utilities. Confluence Rivers will then be the surviving company. The joint applicants indicate the existing tariffs and rates would be maintained and adopted by Confluence if the merger is approved. Staff performed a review and recommends that the application be approved subject to certain conditions. Those include Confluence continuing to file its annual reports by system and notifying the customers for the separate systems of the changes and the customer support contact information. Public Counsel responded in support of staff's recommendations and had 2 additional recommendations, which Confluence has agreed to. So the proposed merger is not detrimental to the public interest. Therefore, I support the order granting the application subject to the recommended conditions. And this is version 3. Commissioner Roop,
I am in support of the order.
Commissioner Coleman,
I support the order.
Commissioner Holzman,
I support the order.
and Commissioner Kolkmeyer.
And I also support the order.
All right, all those in favor of approving the order as drafted version 3, say aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
That order is approved 5-0. Next up, file number SA 2022-0014. This is in the matter of the application of Elms Hills Utility Operating Company, Inc. for a certificate of convenience and necessity to provide sewer service in Johnson County, Missouri, as an expansion of its existing service area. Elms Hills is requesting a CCN to own and operate a sewer system in Johnson County that will expand its existing service territory to include 4 residential lots next to the company's State Park Village service territory. The company proposed extending its current monthly flat rate for the area to those additional lots. The current State Park Village system is able to provide the service to the additional customers, and there is a need for that service. Staff performed the review and recommended that the CCN be granted, subject to certain conditions, which the company did not oppose. No other responses were received. So finding that there's a need for the service and Elm Hills has the experience and financial ability to provide that service, in addition to the remaining Tartan factors, I support this order granting the CCN, and that is version 2. Commissioner Root,
I too am supporting the order.
Commissioner Coleman,
I support the order.
Commissioner Holzman,
I support the order.
and Commissioner Kolkmeyer.
And I support the order.
All right. All those in favor of approving the order as drafted version 2, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
That order is approved 5-0. Next up, file number WE 2021-0390. This is in the matter of the joint application of Missouri American Water Company and DCM Land LLC for a variance from the company's tariff provisions regarding the extension of company mains. You'll remember from our case discussion that Missouri American and DCM Land filed a joint application for variances, which the commission discussed last week. As we previously discussed, the applicants were requesting a variance from the terms of Missouri American's tariff sheets to extend the deadline for DCM's development to take service out to 5 years from the current 120-day deadline. The deadline extension is reasonable to allow time to complete the construction of that phase of the development. The second variance will allow for an 86-14 funding ratio for the main installation. This is the funding ratio that is used in Missouri American service territory outside of the St. Louis Metro District. I think there's good cause to grant the variance request as it will allow for the expanded service, and no party found it to be unreasonable to extend the 120-day deadline to 5 years based on the amount of construction still needed at the site. So with that, I support this order version 2. Commissioner Roop,
I am supporting the order.
Commissioner Coleman,
I support the order.
Commissioner Holzman,
I support the order.
and Commissioner Kolkmeyer.
And I do as well.
All right, all those in favor of approving the order as drafted version 2, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
That order is approved 5-0. Next up, file number GT 2022-0079. This is in the matter of the verified application of Liberty Utilities Mid-States Natural Gas Corp., DBA Liberty, for approval of amendment to a rider PGA to allow recovery period flexibility. Liberty filed a tariff to amend its purchase gas adjustment rider. That tariff was submitted on October 7th. The revised tariff would authorize Liberty to request commission approval to mitigate some of the rate impacts due to extraordinary events like the storm we had last February. Staff recommended the substitute tariff be approved and go into effect as requested on October 22nd. So I support this order version 3. Commissioner Root.
I am supporting the order.
Commissioner Coleman.
I support the order.
Commissioner Holzman.
I support the order.
And Commissioner Kolkmeyer.
And I also support the order.
All right, all those in favor of approving this order as drafted version 3 say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
That order is approved 5-0. Next up, file number GT 2022-0080. This is in the matter of the verified application of the Empire District Gas Company, DBA Liberty, for approval of amendment to rider PGA to allow recovery period flexibility. So similar to the prior order, Liberty submitted tariff sheets to revise the terms of its PGA rider to allow Liberty Empire to request commission approval to mitigate rate impacts due to fuel costs resulting from extraordinary events. Staff again recommends this tariff be approved. No other responses were received. I support this order in the tariff amendments version 3. Commissioner Root.
I am supporting the order.
Commissioner Coleman.
I support the order.
Commissioner Holzman.
I support the order.
And Commissioner Kolkmeyer.
I also support the order.
All right, all those in favor of approving this order as drafted version 3 say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
That order is approved 5-0. Next up, file number GT 2022-0083 in the matter of Spire Missouri Inc.'s verified application for approval of the amendment of its PGA rider to adjust the filing adjustment factor for its Spire Missouri East operating unit. Spire has also filed an application seeking approval to amend its PGA rider for its Spire Missouri East territory to allow for the mitigation of rate impacts from the February cold weather event. It would allow the company to spread the recovery of gas costs over a period not to exceed 3 years. Staff recommended that we approve these tariff sheets. No other responses were received, so this order approves the tariff revision, and I support this order version 2. Commissioner Root.
I am supporting the order.
Commissioner Coleman.
I support the order.
Commissioner Holzman.
I support the order.
And Commissioner Kolkmeyer.
And I do as well.
All right, all those in favor of approving the order as drafted version 2 say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
That order is approved 5-0. Final order today is file number GT 2022-0084. This is in the matter of Spire Missouri Inc.'s verified application for approval of the amendment to its PGA rider to adjust filing adjustment factor for its Spire Missouri West operating unit. Similar to the prior order, they also filed tariff sheets to change the PGA rider for the Spire Missouri West service territory. Staff recommends approval. No other responses were received. So I support this order approving the tariff revision version 2. Commissioner Root.
I am supporting the order.
Commissioner Coleman.
I am in support of the order.
Commissioner Holzman.
I support the order.
And Commissioner Kolkmeyer.
I also support the order.
All right. All those in favor of approving the order as drafted version 2 say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
That order is approved 5-0. That concludes reports and orders today. We do have one other discussion. I'm sorry. The case discussion has been moved to tomorrow. The other discussion is regarding FCC comments for VoIP compliance with state numbering requirements. Is Carrie Salzman or John Van Eschen or Jim Bush there to lead this discussion?
Hi, this is Carrie Salzman.
Good morning.
The FCC is seeking input on whether FCC rules should be revised to clarify that iVoIP providers must comply with state numbering requirements. Staff has drafted comments in support of the existing rules being revised. In these comments, staff points out that the Missouri Commission has 2 rules pertaining to the oversight of telephone numbering resources. which apply to all providers that obtain numbers directly from the numbering administrator. Staff comments that these rules are consistent with the authority delegated to a state by the FCC, that this authority has helped conserve telephone numbers in Missouri, and that iVoIP providers, whether providing a non-fixed or nomadic service, shouldn't be excused from complying. The decision of the FCC on whether its rules will be revised could directly affect the application of Missouri telephone numbering rules in Chapter 28, so we feel it's important to provide input. Today, staff's requesting approval to file these comments with the FCC on behalf of the Missouri Commission.
Okay. Are there any questions for Carrie about these comments? All right, well, it sounds like there are no questions. I also have no questions, so I will make a motion to approve the filing of the comments with the FCC. Is there a second?
Second by Holzman.
Seconded by Commissioner Holzman. Is there any discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor of approving the motion to file these comments with the FCC say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
That motion is approved 5-0. All right, thank you very much for that. So that concludes other discussion. The only thing that leaves us with for today is upcoming scheduling. So today, I don't believe that hearing is going anymore. So Wednesday, October 20th, we have the Employee Appreciation Day reception that will be at 10 a.m. Via WebEx. We also have agenda that day at 2:15 p.m. Immediately following agenda is a USB meeting, which we expect to be probably around 2:30. Wednesday, October 27th, we have agenda at 10:15 a.m. Wednesday, November 3rd, agenda at 10:15 a.m. Wednesday, November 10th, we currently have agenda scheduled at 10:15 a.m. that week, but agenda that week may change due to some other scheduling conflicts, so we'll stay tuned for that. And Wednesday, November 17th, we have agenda at 10:15 a.m. So that gets us out through the middle of November. Any comments, questions? Oh, I'm sorry. And we also, yes, tomorrow have the agenda at 2 p.m. To do the case discussion on Spire. So we have that as well tomorrow at 2 p.m. Any comments, questions, or requests regarding scheduling through the middle of November?
Chairman Silvey, this is Counsel for Spire, Goldie Boxtruck. I just wanted to say that to the extent it is useful to know in advance, Spire will have representatives available for agenda via phone if you have any questions.
Okay. We will take that into note. Any other comments?
Thank you.
Any comments regarding scheduling? All right, hearing none, that concludes our business for today. So with no other business coming before the body, we will stand adjourned. Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.